Welcome, Lightning Talks. It's one of the most fun parts of the conference, right? Right. Okay. Here's Robin talking about on wheels.
Hello, everyone. I just want to quickly introduce, some of you maybe already know it, but we're on Wheels. We're a small non-profit organization from Belgium. We have an app where we show detailed accessibility data for wheelchairs. So as you know, most of the time in OpenStreetMap, you have the tag wheelchair yes or no. But as a wheelchair user, it's very hard to say, okay, is this accessible for me, yes or no? Even for one wheelchair user, it's impossible. So we started working on a bit more details. We also have an app where we show that in an accessible way to wheelchair users. Quickly how it works, so it's just a map. Of course, it's also OpenStreetMap, but also all the data. So we do kind of work in layers because that's easier for people to view the data. But the data is actually all in OpenStreetMap. So we have tagging. I will show you the link to our wiki page. But this is easy because our users can just decide, okay, I only want to see shops, or I'm only interested in toilets, and all the rest I don't want to see. So they're not overwhelmed by all the data. And then so here you can see they can select. On the right, that's all the detailed information which is known about the location. And as you see, what we do is, for instance, for the entrance, we measure the door width of the entrance. We see if there's steps, how many steps, what's the height of the steps. And all that data we actually input into the app as a user, and it's directly stored on the way or on the node in OpenStreetMap on the shop or on the store or the building. We also work on other data, which is wheelchair accessible routes. This is just verified routes by tourism or cities, for instance. So as a city, it's really interesting to show their users, okay, you can do walk here. Along that walk, there's a toilet there. You can park your car there. There's an interesting viewpoint here, which you can reach with your wheelchair. You want to rest? All the sitting benches, interesting data from other OpenStreetMap users. So it's kind of a combination. What is interesting about our app is that we show detailed information, but then the app you can actually say, okay, my wheelchair is this, what's the width of my wheelchair and the height I can do, and then the app will kind of filter for you. But the data that we collect is just objective information, and this way the user decides for their own what is accessible. Because that question is impossible, like accessibility is for everyone different. Can be for one user different in the morning or in the afternoon, so it's impossible. Some things, so what we also do is we have like a layer with data from OpenStreetMap, from shops, restaurants, where without the tags from the entrances, so we know there's a shop here or there's a cafe here, but the tags are not on it already for the width and the height. So what you can do in the app, you can log in with your OpenStreetMap account, you can click on one of those locations, you see immediately, it's a shop, the opening hours, so all the information which is already known. You click on it, edit location, and you can just fill in the list, and you can add the information, and then it will put the gray icon under a restaurant icon, or yes. So for you, maybe interesting. So we have been working years on this already. It's really hard to find a kind of objective way, or like what are the right tags for this or for that. So it's always in movement. But we made our own wiki page. So we try to put all our tagging everything there, the updates that we're working on, what are we doing, the discussions, you can all view it on there. And also interesting for you guys, so with what we do normally, we do team buildings, we go on the streets, we add information, missing information from all the stores in the whole city in it, and then all the information is OpenStreetMap. And as you can see, we also work with the city to improve afterwards to make them more accessible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Robin. Next is Michael.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Michael. I'm currently doing a project of mapping public transport station in London and also in other places in the UK for the purpose of improving the public transport routing engines. So we now have applications which consume OpenStreetMap data to produce public transport routings accurate to the platform level. So for example, this is one of the consuming applications which use OpenStreetPlanner as a backend. And then this journey is for a journey from like Streatham Common to Kensington Olympia, which requires a train change at Clapham Junction. And as you can see, our transport data contains the platform number to the accurate to the platform level. So the southern train is to platform 14, and the overground train will depart from platform 1. And then with accurate OpenStreetMap data, we can show that you need to use the stairs to go down from platform 14, use the tunnel to go under the tracks, and then go back up the stairs here to take the train from platform 1. So this is how good quality data should look like. And I'm also trying to do that for most underground interchanges as well, such as the accurate transfer time can be returned. So for example, like this is Streatham Common, maybe we go to like Highbury and Islington, which will require a change to the underground. And then in this case, it will estimate that you will need to 8 minutes to change from the southern train to the tube train according to the OpenStreetMap data. But we have run into a problem. So because there are some problem in 2D and 3D snapping, so this is the limitation of some of our data. So in this case, we have a mapping. We need to improve the mapping to put the NAP10 stop code ID into the train platform so that our routing engine can correctly identify in multi-level platforms to identify if it is underground or overground. And this is how bad data looks like. So I have done a lot of stations in London, like including most major interchange stations in Zone 1, like Oxford Circus, Bond Street, Liverpool Street, a lot of things, and then it's also to Zone 2 or 3. So I hope that if other people who uses trains and stations who can also help me to check and cross-verify if all these stations work in terms of routing to platform from the streets. So thanks all. Okay, this app is called Aubin, AUBIN, and then it is available on Android and iOS. But there is some technical issue on the Apple App Store, so you can download it for Android first, and then we're resolving that for our iOS.
Thank you very much. Next up, Diego. Yeah, just a few seconds to set up.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Diego Pajarito. I'm a researcher at the University of Glasgow, and I'm presenting on behalf of the big IDEAMAPS team, a research project and a research network that has been working with data about cities, especially in the Global South. And nowadays, I'm going to talk about one of the cases in Kenya. So I brought this presentation basically to demonstrate one of those cases where the data from OpenStreetMap is not complete, but it is also the unique source of data that we have for a process that starts with something that should change, a process that starts with a conceptual model. The project wants to map informal settlements, slums, or that category that refers to urban deprivation, the condition which millions of people across the world lived in or suffer or face. And this can be represented in different manners. So multiple domains of the deprivation happens in different places. Some of them are related to physical conditions, the urban layout. Some others are related to livelihoods and living conditions. And some of them can be represented or analyzed through geospatial data. In this project, we want to implement a process which is centered in the communities. That starts from a process of co-design, when we talk to people, when we talk to communities with local researchers and identify needs and worldviews and different problems that the communities in different countries face. Then we go to a process in which that data set, those data sets about the cities and the conditions in the urban places happened. And then we, together with the communities, we validate those data and then say, yeah, this data is representing our realities, or this data isn't representing it. And then we go into a cycle of improvements to represent these urban conditions and use it for decision making later. Here I brought one small example of an area in Nairobi. This area is called Korogocho. This is the fourth largest informal settlement in Nigeria. It's actually well mapped and well analyzed in the literature and the research literature in urban studies. And then we conducted a co-design exercise talking about the needs or the most important and more relevant domains of deprivation according to the element. I apologize for the text size in here, but just to let you know that one of the key elements here was the accumulation of waste in the streets. And then we say, how can we identify those areas in which waste is getting accumulated? Because on the other hand, although for the formal definition of informal settlements or needs, air quality is a priority for the literature, actually in their views is not on top of this priority. We also did this exercise for Vivandani, another area, informal settlement, which is translated, the translation in Swahili means that it is close to the industrial area. That's the reason why people live in there, because they live very close to their job place. And then the highest priority was around, again, waste, but also condensation and high density in the elements. We conducted after this a focused map activity using OSM and mapping assets. As we talked about their needs, then we talk about the assets that they need and they have. And in here, we map together with them for the project more than 600, 500 points in each of the elements. And then you start to see some of the icons and the relevant elements for them and the relevant assets. Some of them were worship places, some other were traditional healthcare providers, some other were the actual pile trashes, and some others were elements specific to the elements. And this is just to let you know that projects like this rely on OSM and are happy to contribute to those maps that are not present, and also that this is feeding high-end modelings based on artificial intelligence and very advanced methods. And this data is also generated by the communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pablo.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Pablo. Siri is telling me this is starting now. My name is Pablo, and I was very recently hired by the OSM Foundation as core software engineer, which basically means I was hired to help with the OSM, with the OpenStreetMap website, with the software development thereof. And well, the website has a few moving parts. It can be a bit difficult to define exactly the things it does, but what I am supposed to work on, what I'm currently working on, it doesn't include the ID editor that someone is working on, doesn't include the tiles, but includes pretty much everyone else, unless Tom Grant, Andy, can you correct me on that? Good. Yes, you can correct me on that. Includes a number of things, though. Features to communicate between users, like notes and comments, and perhaps some other public activity, like the what is it called? The activity tiles. Integration of vector tiles as opposed to the vector tiles themselves. That's not me. Integration of perhaps other third-party tools. Legal compliance with GDPR that we all love, and other frameworks that have been on the news lately. Tools to fight spam and abuse. The developer experience, making it easier to get started working on the website and contributing to it. And that's actually what I wanted to focus on right now. And it is that, as a result, part of my duty is to help nurture new contributors to the website. Now, this is a bit of a difficult task. Okay, if you go to the GitHub repository, there are almost 500 issues open, a bit over 100 open PRs. So it's something that when you arrive afresh and wanting to help, you see those numbers and you might feel a bit intimidated. Also, when you go through the discussions, it's difficult to know what you should be working on, what the community wants worked on, and in general, where you will be most useful. Also, you might be intimidated by the technology used. Not many people are familiar with Ruby on Rails. I was hired, among other things, because I am very familiar with Ruby on Rails. So what I wanted to do here in this talk is just say, I am hired to work on the website and to help people work on the website. So that's my email address. It's not a secret. It's on my Git commits. I'm here in this conference. I'll be around today and tomorrow and on Sunday. If this is something that interests you, please come to me, ask me, and perhaps we can figure something out. Reach me on email. Perhaps we can have calls in the future. Tell me about what stops you from contributing, and let's see if we can find a way to help you and others contribute to the OSM website. That is all. Thank you.
Thanks. Jack?
Hello, folks. You got a timer started? Yeah. Just making sure I don't want to go over my time. Hello, folks. I'm Jack. I live in the Dundee area, and
Yeah, woo! Several other locals here, great. And yeah, one of the things I wanted to start to do earlier on this year was look at how to improve the data quality of various kind of targeted types of places in Dundee. And this kind of came out of I was trying to plan an event with a friend, and we wanted to know what cafes in Dundee were open really early in the morning. And I thought, oh, well, that's simple. I'll just go into OpenStreetMap and I'll query the cafes, and surely they'll all have opening times and really good data, and I'll be able to find out really easily. No. At the time, it turns out that 2/3 of the cafes in Dundee did not have opening times mapped against them. And also there was various quality differences in the data. There were cafes that had been closed for years, that had gone out of business or had been bought over. There were ones that were missing addresses, names, whether they were accessible. So I set off on building this site that's osm.dundee.opendata.sco, which is selfishly just for Dundee just now, but it could be expanded. And it's also an open source project, so you can fork it and do it for your local area if you wanted to. And yeah, I set about building a bunch of reports. I started off with just cafes. So if you have a look at the map here, it's color coded in a really non-accessible way, so I'm really sorry if you're colorblind. There is an issue to fix that. And basically color codes a green point if you've got all the data that we kind of care about for this report, which is just name, address, and hours. Partial if there's something missing, and then red if absolutely everything is missing. So we've got a random cafe that's tagged on there that doesn't have any, doesn't have a name, doesn't have an address, doesn't have hours. And I quite like going for coffee on weekends. So what I like to do is, rather than going to the same place, I like to click on the button here, and it'll suggest a place for me to go. And then when I'm there, I can then go and see what's missing, and I can hopefully update the tags. I think this has been quite a valuable way to gamify things as well, because I quite like looking at these big meters here and trying to get them all complete, which I think is particularly kind of resonates with Dundee as well, with it being quite a big gaming culture. If you don't know, this is the birthplace of Grand Theft Auto and Lemmings, of all places, as well. So I think gamifying using things like this and Every Door, which I've used in conjunction with it, has been quite good. Sometimes I've maybe gone a bit too far in gamifying and lost track of time. A couple of weeks ago, I managed to rack up a parking fine by losing track of time when I was mapping things on the high street. And yeah, I've managed to expand this a bit since then, and also introduce kind of maybe bigger, kind of more generic data sets like shops, say, for example, where there's a lot of those in Dundee. If Overpass is going to play ball and give me that list, no, it's not. I did just literally put caching on this morning, so it should be a bit more forgiving. So maybe try a smaller data set like museums, so we're maybe struggling. But yeah, I'm hoping to expand it to maybe look at tags that we maybe care about. For some places, like say museums or hotels, you might care about the star rating of a hotel, and we might want to look at that. And we might care about, if for cafes, if the food hygiene ratings score ID is on there as well. But we wouldn't necessarily care about that for, say, a petrol station, for example. So I'm looking to customize that a bit more. But yeah, that's that. I thought I would just show it off and show what we've been doing in Dundee with that, and encourage you to fork it and use it for your local area if you want to.